Welcome to ChampionsHeart. You can't play boxing. Featuring boxing addict Johnny Farace and friends from superfans to superstars. Let's roll.
Hey, boxing fans. Welcome to today. Today is June 1st, a.k.a. the first day of forever. And I have with me boxing expert, 15rounds.com, Marc Abrams.
Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah, to be mentioned, noted. Good. Well, guess what, Mark? Boxing is back.
Sure is. With the California and Nevada commissions look like they're going to start getting stuff in order. I know Top Rank is coming back, and why don't you set this up?
Absolutely, man. It is coming back as early as next Tuesday. And just like you mentioned before with elite talent. The first fight in is WBO champion Stevenson. He's not going to get his title fight, but coming back with a pretty tough fight, his first fight back. And it should be great for the fans. I mean,
yeah, I think just to, I've been, watching all the UFC fights that have started up in the last 3-4 weeks. Just to get some action in, and especially with some known fighters, I see Jesse Magdalena's fighting, Ivan Baranchyk fighting Zepeda, some other fights that are going to be happening, just to get not only fights, but fighters that we all seen and heard of in action, in looks like somewhat competitive fights. It's just great to have everything back, and hopefully, with that will start opening the gates to, I know we're not talking about basketball, baseball, football, whatever, but hopefully that will start opening the gates up to just getting back to some normalcy in life.
Absolutely. So let the sport progress its way, keep going and keep moving, or start moving and start going again. But, kudos to Top Rank for setting up a great schedule. And the boxing fans are definitely looking forward to that, as am I. That's a great schedule every Tuesday, Thursday throughout the month of June. You had mentioned, the next fight after Shakur is Jesse Magdalena, who's a former titleist himself, moving up in weight. I mean, this is great boxing, actually.
No, it's good. Like I said, just a minute ago, we've seen a lot of these fighters, and I think Bob Arum said all the fights are going to be with guys that we've seen that have performed on ESPN and in good fights. So, I believe what I read, some of these shows me like 5 fight cards. I don't know. I would imagine with the ESPN Plus, we'll probably get to see the whole card and whatnot, which is great. Right. So, it looks like Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next few weeks. So before it starts to head back into hopefully more of a normal schedule.
Right. And what have you heard from Golden Boy? I know they were targeting July
4th, I think. I don't know if they want Ryan Garcia in action or not, but I heard July 4th, probably on the zone.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Matchroom is looking at August?
Complex? Well, I don't know what they're planning to do yet in America, but Eddie Hearn, in back of their offices, they have a large amount of ground, large amount of land, where they're going to have, I guess they're going to call it Matchroom Square Gardens. I mean, an outdoor thing, obviously without fans, going to be on the grounds. So, yeah, I think that'd be a cool little atmosphere and outdoor fights. In fact, some of the stuff you read, and I don't, I said I'm not one of these guys who are going to go on CNN or MSNBC and tell you what the deal is. But they said there's a little bit less of a chance of stuff happening health-wise with this COVID-19 when you're outside. So, hey, that's even maybe a little bit more safer.
Sure thing. When did you hear when he was going to start?
That I haven't heard. I know he was supposed to meet with the zone either late last week or early this week about, getting things done. I think I saw a fight maybe for August. They wanted to do Dillian White against Alexandra Povetkin and possibly Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor on the same card. So,
wow.
When they come back, they can do that pay-per-view in the United Kingdom. So, and people will buy that because the fans in the United Kingdom have, they support, fights, even if they're not like the biggest world title fights out there. So that'll be good for them.
Absolutely great for them and their fanship. Like you said, they have great fans over there and they know how to rock and roll in boxing. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor fight.
Great fight. Great fight.
Wow.
Amanda, I've broadcasted a lot of her fights over the years, and she's a real terrific and exciting fighter. Real exciting fighter. Katie Taylor, very exciting fighters as well. So that can't help to be a terrific fight.
Amazing fight in the females. So let's talk quick. You mentioned the heavyweights. Who's getting who in the division? It seems like I guess Fury, there's a mandatory for him with Pulev.
Correct.
Although they're also talking about him and Joshua. I don't know.
Joshua and Pulev. Joshua and Pulev. Pulev's the mandatory for Joshua. I don't know. Exactly with some of these other fights where, Joshua does 80,000 fans, and they're gonna, I don't know exactly yet what they're gonna do with those fights. And with Tyson Fury Wilder 3, those may have to wait a few extra months to see, what restrictions are going to be lifted in terms of having fans in and whatnot. So, but those fights will all eventually happen. I also read another thing where, some of the title fights may be put on hold because of the restrictions of the amount of people out in the building. So if you have a WBO, WBA, IBF, WBC, you got to fly in representatives from those organizations. So that's another maybe 2 or 3 people that you have to have in the building. So maybe to cut down on, maybe not more than 25 people in the facility and whatnot. So that I read that could be a little factor as well, is why we may not see some world title fights out of the chute.
Yeah. Wouldn't be bad though to get some other fights out of the way, get some people fighting, but want to see those world title fights for sure. Real quick, jump over to welterweight division. Some making headlines this week. Thurman is calling out Spence. Is that a fight that could happen?
Yeah, I think it's a fight that can happen. I think Spence will fight Danny Garcia at first, and then we'll see. We'll see if they can visit a Crawford fight or whatnot. If they can't, at least Spence will have some options, whether it's Manny Pacquiao, whether it's a Keith Thurman. Like I said, Garcia first, maybe a rematch with Sean Porter down the line. Who knows? But he definitely has the options if a Crawford fight doesn't happen. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Crawford and who they have lined up for him, because on the top ranked side, there really hasn't been many big names out there for him to fight. He just fought the Kavaliskis fight. Will he fight? I think in a perfect world, Aaron would like to match Ramirez and Josh Taylor down the line, because that becomes a major opponent for Crawford should one of them decide to move up.
That'd be a great fight. Great fight, by the way, Ramirez. Josh Taylor's. Let me go back to Errol Spence 1 second. I want to ask you a quick question. Do you think that car accident affected him?
We won't know. We won't know until he fights, but he seems to be a little bit more out there now than he was in the first month or two after the car accident. He seems to be getting everything in line, and he's being mentioned now for fights. So I assume that he's okay. So
I hope so. I pray though. Yeah.
We don't know. We won't know the effects of the car accident until he actually gets in the ring. I'm sure they wouldn't be putting him out there or putting him in the ring. Had they not, the powers that be, the PBC people, his trainer Derek James, his father, I know, was very involved in his career as well, that they would not, probably let him out and fight, especially against guys like Garcia or Thurman, whoever it may be, unless they were pretty confident that he's fully recovered from the car accident.
Right. God, such a vicious accident. Kind of like,
Correct.
Each time a fighter steps in the ring, they leave a little bit of themselves in the ring. And I feel that perhaps there could be a possibility he left a little of himself in that car accident. I hope not, because he's such a talent and he has so much to offer the boxing world, and I pray for him every night. So, pound for pound list was always kind of a staple of a name, Now it's kind of mixed up a little bit. There's some thought to be given to it a little bit. What's
Well,
your top?
and that's a good thing. You know, you can ask 10 different guys. You may get a Crawford, you may get a Lomachenko, you may get a Canelo. Those seem to be the top three guys out there. And then there's some other guys hovering around. Errol Spence, as we just mentioned, he's, you know, somewhere in the top maybe 6 or 7, and, you know, some other guys out there. So now that's a good thing, you know, and it's good for what I always used to say when me and some guys would go to the sports bar and argue some basketball or boxing, football. It's good sports bar talk.
Good sports bars, absolutely, and I love it. And it gives boxing more of a push to come back in the mainstream. It's all good stuff. What I think could possibly be the fight of the year this year, in a year with a big asterisk by it, of course. Lomachenko and Lopez is set hopefully for September. They're looking to
let's hope. I mean, we're supposed to be. We're taping this, I know, on June 1st, like you said. The fight was supposed to be a couple nights ago at Madison Square Garden, and. You know, let's hope. I mean, you know, obviously, if anyone's able to pull something like off a pay-per-view quality fight without fans or with very little fandom, it is Top Rank. That they'll figure it out. And if they're saying they're looking September, both guys can make it happen. I know, you know, I guess maybe one of the things is getting Lomachenko back in the country.
Right.
So, you know, we'll see how maybe in the beginning of July what the travel restrictions are for, you know, people like Lomachenko to get back in the country, and hopefully that fight will happen. It's a very exciting fight.
Very exciting fight. Very exciting fight. So also, Saturday night was supposed to have been that fight. Friday night was supposed to have been the Boxers Writers Association awards meeting where you were going to get an award.
Well, I don't know if they ever really set a date, but yeah, that was one of the dates I know they were talking about.
Talk about your award real quick, because I want you to gloat for you.
Well, I won the Courage Award from the Boxing Writers Association of America. Some people may or may not know I've had some little health issues, or more than little health issues, over the last year and a half, where I had 3 major surgeries on my stomach and a surgery on my kidney for where they found a malignant mass on my kidney, which they had to take out. And, you know, just been a tough year for me. And I had my final surgery on March 10th, and I just seem to get better every day. It almost seems like, and I really didn't miss much. I thought I was going to miss a couple months worth of stuff in terms of doing my work, my PR and broadcasting work. But it turns out, you know, with all the fights that were canceled, you know, wind up not really missing anything, and just eager to go back to work. I really have not been, you know, healthy in a few years, and I just, you know, I'm looking forward to get back and do my job as a healthy person for the first time in a little while.
And that makes me happy, man. I'm so glad that you're on the right side of this. Well deserved. You're a great man and a great person for the sport of boxing. Always have been.
Stop! You're gonna make me blush here.
So, all right, my dear. Well, I appreciate you. We'll round up again in the next week or so, kind of catch back up and let everybody know what's going on.
We'll be able to actually talk about some fights that actually happened.
Yes, excited about that. All right, my man. Sounds good, Mark. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you.